Hello and welcome in. Mark here, aka the Markster. This is video number 69 in the FreeCAD series. So a user on the forum has a question about how could he go about selecting all of these edges. He wants to fillet all these edges. How can you select all these easily instead of having to do this sort of tedious individually selecting all these, because he wants to fillet them. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'll show you kind of a quick and easy way to get all those selected. Let me show you which version I'm using today. This is 0.19 revision 20887. It's now over 2 weeks old, so it's time to update it. That's which version I have. Alright, so I'm going to use a macro called Bmpimport, which has a tool built into that macro that can be useful for this. So if you go to the Tools menu, Add-on Manager, and look at the Macros tab, you should find one called Bmpimport right here. Click here to install it. And I've got one update available. I'll come back and update that later. And then you go to your macro menu, choose macros, and you'll find Bmpimport, execute. And here's what it looks like. So this macro is for importing black and white BMP images, 1 bit per pixel. You have a lot of different options on here for importing those objects, for example as sketches, into FreeCAD, but that's not what we're focused on today. I think I have an earlier video using this to import what was it? It was a barcode. It was a QR code in one of those earlier videos. But anyway, what we're going to use it for today is to aid in doing these selections. So the Selected Objects button, you select one object. It can be, let's make one of these active here. I double clicked it to make it active, or you can right click. And I have a setting in my preferences to make these red so I can see at a glance that it's active. Yours will likely be a light blue color when your body is active. So this body we'll have to do them one at a time. You can select an edge, a face, or a vertex. So if we selected that vertex, and then we come to our macro, that will keep it in the foreground. Let's see, selected point, and then hit selected points. It'll ask us which axis. By default it's the z-axis. So what it's going to do when I hit OK, it's going to select every point in this body, every vertex, as at the same z level as the selected point. So you see now they're all selected. So if you had some operation you wanted to do on all these points, that would be a way of doing it. Or you can select an edge, click selected points, and it'll get all these edges at that z level. But with the fillet tool, we can also select faces. There's no way, even with Bmpimport, to select the bottom edges too. So this would require two different operations, two different fillet operations. But we can select the face. So I select this face here, and then selected objects, and now it's got all the faces selected. And then we can do the fillet. Now, by default, it tries to do a 1 millimeter radius fillet, which is not going to work on this particular model because 1 millimeter is too big. So when it comes up, we'll change it to 0.5 here. 0.5, and give that a moment to process. And when it comes up, we'll see that other body made visible again. There it is. So that's what a 0.5 fillet is going to look like. It could probably do a little bit bigger, but I'm not going to mess with that. So we'll just hit OK and give it a moment. And we can do the other in the same manner. Right click, toggle active body. So now that one's the active body. Select one of the faces. We could also select this edge here and watch what's going to happen. So now it's got all the edges that are on that same Z level. Basically, it's using the bounding box to determine the Z-min and Z-max values. So all the edges that have these same Z values get selected. It's not going to help us in this particular case, but I just wanted to show you that was also an option. So I'll select that face, selected object, and we get all those selected, and we do the fillet again. So part design is not the fastest workbench. Needs to be optimized a little bit. And that's going to work. So this FCBmpImport macro, or sometimes Bmpimport, is used to import these BMP images. When I first started using FreeCAD, I wanted to learn about FreeCAD and learn about Python and using Qt Creator to create these dialogues. So this was my first sort of macro that I wrote. And as I learned more about FreeCAD, I learned there are better ways to import images. Doing SVG imports, in my opinion, that's a better way to get an image in. So convert your image to SVG, and FreeCAD has that SVG import as geometry built into it. I find it works better. But if you have a BMP you need to import, this can be used to do that. And there are some tools on here for working with draft wires. I went a little bit overboard with some of those things. but it works well for some images. If you have mostly all vertical and horizontal edges, it works pretty well. If you have circles or angles at other than 90 degrees, then it's going to create a lot of pixelation and it's not going to look very good. So anyway, that's the Bmpimport macro. I should probably make a separate macro just with this selected objects tool in it. Anyway, that's a quick way to get your multiple faces or edges pre-selected in FreeCAD using the Bmpimport macro tool. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.